Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the best sports show out. You're watching episode 85 of Highly Opinionated. I'm your co-host, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, best co-host in the game. My guy, whatever direction I'm pointing at. The host of the Club JG podcast, my good brother. What's up, JG? How you doing, brother?
Fellas, always good to see you. Just got back from a nice little vacation in old Nashville, Tennessee. Had an amazing time. How was y'all's weekend?
It was good, brother. Can't complain. It wasn't as good as Nashville, Tennessee, man. Describe the vacation and the time in Nashville, brother.
How was the weather down there, JG?
Man, you talk about like mid 70s, but it feel like 80. Like I'm gonna put it like this: Nashville is special. It's special, especially on Memorial Day weekend. It's special.
So it wasn't rained out like it was here in Maryland.
Like a little rain here and there, but like honestly, like. Boys hit up full disclosure. Boys hit up a pool party like it was supposed to be rained out. It ended up being 80 degrees, partly cloudy, and the atmosphere was what it was. So, God worked on something for the guys when it was down there. So, thank you, God, as always. Appreciate that.
They say God works in mysterious ways. Amen. Hallelujah. I know you was preaching on this week's episode of Highly Opinionated. I'm glad you had a good time, brother. Glad you enjoyed yourself. Glad to have you back in the fold, my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important guy here on Highly Opinionated, you see him at the bottom of the screen. What's up, Ross? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you feeling, Josh?
Good. I can't complain at all. Just living. Everything good with you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't complain at all. I'm definitely ready to get to the talking some sports.
Absolutely. That's what we're here to do. Entertain the people, inform the people about what's going on in sports. We want to thank you guys for watching episode 84. We appreciate our special guest, Ziggy Reed, for coming on the show. Ziggy, we support you next season. What you got going on? Salute. Any way we can support you here on Highly Opinionated, we definitely will. Shout out to my other co-host Tim. Came in and sat in and filled in the co-host chair to do that interview. Tim has a lot of great things going on. 6U Liberty Chargers. Wish him well with their upcoming season, spring season leading into the season. So wish those guys well. We appreciate you for watching and tuning in to episode 84. Obviously, this is episode 85. Ross, let them know where they can follow us on our social medias.
Yes, sir. Y'all can follow us on Instagram at highlyopinionated__. Follow us on TikTok at highlyopinionated_SS. Follow us on Twitter or X at highly_SS. And of course, you're already on YouTube, so make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Absolutely. The comments, your subscriptions, everything means the world to us. Highly Opinionated is a show for the people, about the people. You love sports. If you have a product that you want to push, this is the place for you. JG, my brother, fresh off the plane from Nashville, Tennessee. Ready to get episode 85 started, my brother?
I reckon you're right.
I wish I was in Nashville to know what that means. I got you. I'm going to have to go next time so I can find out what that means. By the way, before we start, congratulations. Not only, obviously, you had a good time in Nashville, but while you were in Nashville, your Las Vegas Golden Knights reached their third Stanley Cup in 9 years existing in the NHL. Just quickly, your thoughts on the Golden Knights advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I mean, it was one of those magical playoff runs that you talk about in sports, but especially in hockey. Like a team that fired their head coach Bruce Cassidy with about 10 games left to go in the season, for them to make a run like this and then to sweep, not just defeat a heavily favored Colorado Avalanche team, but to absolutely sweep them where they had no chance. You just didn't see that coming. Mark Stone, Braden McNabb, Jack Eichel, these guys have been playing out of their minds, and Vegas is going for another Stanley Cup final. Again, their third appearance in 9 years of existence. Right now they're on a hot streak in the lights we haven't seen in the history of sports. For a brand new team, the quote unquote expansion team versus the historical teams that we know, they're off to a hot start for their team history, and they got a legit chance to win it, no matter who comes out of the Eastern Conference.
We will make our Stanley Cup Finals predictions when we find out the Eastern Conference champion. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I know who JG's picking. Shout out to your Golden Knight, man. 9 years of existence and your third time in the Stanley Cup. That's truly amazing. Love what they're doing out there in Las Vegas. All right, JG, let's officially start the show we started with sports news. Let's start off with a topic that we missed last week. So much going on in the sports world, we didn't have a chance to get to it. Shout out to Aaron Rye. He's the He is the winner of the PGA Championship. He is the first English player to win the PGA Championship since 1919. Aaron Ra, the PGA Championship is the Wanamaker Trophy. So by him winning the PGA Championship, he gets a 5-year exemption on the PGA Tour, which means he's invited to all PGA events for the next 5 years. He's invited for the Masters for 5 years, the U.S. Open for 5 years, and the Open Championship for 5 years. However, winning the PGA Championship, he has a lifetime invitation to the PGA Championship. So, Aaron Ra, we didn't have a chance to shout you out and congratulate you. Congratulations on winning the PGA Championship. Any quick words on Aaron Ra winning the championship? Your congratulatory thoughts?
Yeah, like you just said, the first Englishman to win the PGA Tour since, what was it, 1919?
Yes, sir.
It seems like every year we have like a new budding star that no one knows about yet, but then the Masters come around and we learn more about that guy. So I have a feeling that Aaron Rodgers may have something to say about that as the major tournaments come in the rest of this year, but also in 2027.
Absolutely. Once again, the PGA champion is Aaron Rodgers. The next major championship in golf is the U.S. Open. That's June 18th through June 21st. That will be in New York City. Can't wait for that. Our next topic that we're going to get to, JG. We had a big announcement in the NFL world. A legend is retiring.
If this could be your last year, do you even think of that right now?
Yes.
As in your last year?
This is it, yeah.
As you guys heard, Aaron Rodgers was asked, is this his last season? He confirmed that this will be his last season playing football, being a quarterback in the NFL. He signed a 1-year, $25 million deal with Pittsburgh Steelers. JG, your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers hanging it up this season? And obviously, I'm asking you to be objective. I know how you feel about the Steelers deep down, but your objective thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers 2026 season outlook so far. We're just in OTAs. We haven't hit training camp yet. There still could be some signings, still could be trades. Your thoughts on the Steelers right now, where they stand?
I mean, all jokes aside, people know I'm a Ravens fan. I can't stand the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I just found it a little crazy that they continue to just wait on Aaron Rodgers, quite frankly, just from a football perspective. I mean, again, this guy played pretty good football last year. He wasn't the problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers, why they were a 500 team basically for most of the season before they ended up sneaking the AFC North away. But there never seemed to be a real succession plan after Ben Roethlisberger. Even with Mason Rudolph being drafted, even with Will Howard, and now they drafted Drew Allen out of Penn State. You wonder what Pittsburgh's plan is going to be now that they know Aaron Rodgers is now going to retire. It's funny. It's unlike Aaron Rodgers to come out and say, "Hey, I'm definitely going to retire. I'm not going to do the usual go in my darkness retreat and I'll come out and figure out if I'm going to play football." He's actually announced it. What can you say about the football player? One of the greatest of all time. From a talent perspective, we're not in this conversation. Let me make sure I'm clear. We're talking about a talent of throwing the football. There are very few players that we've ever seen throw the football like Aaron Rodgers. Before Patrick Mahomes came around, I don't think anybody was throwing it better than Aaron Rodgers. So 4-time NFL League MVP, that's tied for the most in NFL history with one Peyton Manning, the greatest touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history, and he also holds the best passer rating throughout the entire year in NFL history. So this is one of the most talented players we've ever seen. It's the end of that era back in 2004 where we had Eli Manning, we had Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, just to name a few. Aaron Rodgers is in that realm. Drew Brees, you can throw Drew Brees in there, in that realm of quarterbacks that we just kind of all grew up watching in middle school and high school. This is the last of that breed. Obviously Tom Brady, but yeah. And look at an outlook for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did get better this offseason. They added some weapons on both sides of the ball. Michael Pittman from Indianapolis Colts, that is a big pickup. They desperately were searching for a number 2 alongside DK Metcalf, and you saw it appear, glaringly in most games. So Michael Pittman is going to definitely fill that role. You got Metcalf there. You got Jalen Warren back there with now Rico Dowdle as his running back mate. Offensive line still has a few questions in my opinion. We'll see how they gel, and defensively, they're led by T.J. Watt, they're led by Cam Hayward, the 2 old school guys. Added some pieces there as well, including Jamel Dean in free agency. So the AFC North is going to be tough. big surprise there. Every team, in my opinion, has definitely improved. Since people think it's smooth, Cincinnati Bengals should be the favorites to win the AFC North because they retained, although it's questionable that they retained them, and their coach Zach Taylor. He's the only guy in that division that is coming back to coach the team. So they're the only team with familiarity. But the Steelers got Aaron Rodgers back. The Ravens made a big change with Jesse Minter. I'm expecting the Pittsburgh Steelers to be competitive as always. They're going to be annoying. They're going to be competitive, and they're not going to tank and try to get a top pick for a quarterback because that's never been their way. So I'm expecting the Steelers to once again be competitive.
I agree with that assumption about the Steelers being competitive. Let me start off with Aaron Rodgers. In my opinion, the two best passers that I've ever seen throw the football, Dan Marino and Aaron Rodgers. This is just me. I don't put Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers in the same vicinity as passing. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a more accomplished player, and you can make a case as a better player because when we look at players, we ultimately measure them by championships, fairly or unfairly. So Patrick Mahomes has started his career, he damn near was in the AFC Championship game every year. If not, he was in the Super Bowl. So he's going to obviously get that nod over Aaron. But it's just like you said, just strictly talking about passing the football. Dan Marino and Aaron Rodgers. Go look at Aaron Rodgers, some of Aaron Rodgers' throws when he was in his prime at Green Bay. He was throwing the ball through a keyhole, and the receivers were catching the ball. So Aaron Rodgers was that guy. He was that guy. He was always that guy as far as throwing the football. Now, some other things, leadership style, you can question. Commitment to the game at times, you can question things. We get that. But as far as his abilities, he sits at the table with the Montanas, with the Marinos, with the Elways, with the best of the best. He's sitting right there as far as abilities. Now, as far as the Steelers, I'm going to say something on here that sometimes we want to say, but we don't say. And it's not like we're not being real, but sometimes the best answer to a question is, I don't know. And that's what I'm going to say about the Steelers. I don't know. Listen, last year, I didn't think the Steelers had a chance of making the playoffs. They won the division. I don't give a damn how they won it. I don't care that Tyler York. By the way, did you know Tyler York had a perfect day in minicamp? He was perfect. He was perfect in minicamp. Did you hear that?
I don't give a damn about OTAs. I'm still mad at Tyler Loop. I called that man Tyler York. I'm sorry. Tyler last name Luke, not York Loop. But you know what? You can call him Tyler. You can call him Tyler whatever. Because I don't give a damn what you're doing in OTAs. Congratulations, you're doing your job and making field goals in freaking off-season voluntary practice. But continue.
Give Tyler Loop, right? Give Tyler Loop the pass. He was a rookie. That is the biggest kick he's ever. The man went to Arizona. He ain't never kicked in no big games. That's the biggest game he ever kicked in his life. Come on, man.
He had one job as a kicker. It's right down the middle, bro, and 40 yards. It's right down the middle. He's got.
All right, well, how about you go out there and you kick the ball 40 yards?
I don't play football, bro. Justin Tucker was a rookie once upon a time, and he made a game-winning kick Mile High in Denver.
Okay.
I don't hear anything about that.
No, I got you. All right, I'm gonna get back to Aaron Rodgers in a second. While we on Tyler Loop, let me just say this: Justin Tucker went to Texas. He played in big games. He played at Texas A&M. They got 100,000. They fit more in the Texas A&M stadium than they do in NFL stadiums. All I'm saying is that pressure, when you don't have that pressure for that one job, kicking, punting, holding the ball, etc., to me, that matters. I'm not giving him a pass. He had one job. He should have made it. But I can understand, like, that's the biggest kick of his life. Like, nobody watched him at Arizona. You get what I'm saying? Like, nobody watched him. That's my point. So
that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah, so that's my only point on that. But getting back to Rodgers. The thing about the Steelers I don't know, they won the division. Tyler Loop, they missed the field goal, as I presently said. We got that. They beat the Ravens twice. Now, one game that was a questionable pass in the first goal, I got that. But they beat them twice. The Bengals.
I may be a pessimist.
No, go ahead.
The NFL did come out and say that.
Oh, I know. I heard.
My bad. It was a touchdown.
My bad. Yeah, that matters. Yeah, that matters now after the season, though. Yeah, that one game could have decided the division. Who knew? However, the Steelers went 1-1 against the Bengals. If I'm not mistaken, they swept the Browns. They won
1-1 against the Browns.
So they went 1-1 against the whole division. So they were 3-3 in the division. For me, I think the Steelers are going to play hard and going to play well enough with the parts that they have. Like you said, they went out and got Michael Pittman. I love them going out and drafting wide receiver Jermaine Bernard, University of Alabama. They went out and tried to improve the offensive line. They went out and signed, obviously, they went out and signed Jamel Dean. They went out and signed Jaquan Brisker. So they're trying to improve this defense and try to maximize what they have left on the team. Derek Harmon is coming back, the guy that they drafted last year from Oregon, out of the first-round defensive tackle. So there are things to like. What I don't like about the Steelers is, like you said, they're playing this Russian roulette game with a 42, 43-year-old quarterback. At some point in time, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Somebody going to be short. You get what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I don't like about the Steelers. They're not really planning for the future at the quarterback position. They're trying to win now. And I think the best way to win the NFL is you tear it down to build it up. So we'll see what the Steelers do. But I think the fact that Aaron Rodgers is reunited with Mike McCarthy, I think this could be the best way Aaron Rodgers has his last season.
Yeah, agreed. Familiarity, and you kind of knew the writing was on the wall. I laugh and joke and I tease, like, oh, what if Rodgers decides that this, you know what, I'm good, I'm going to retire, I'm going to sign somewhere else. The writing was on the wall when the Steelers had hired Mike McCarthy. It was all for keeping Aaron Rodgers because that's the guy that he spent most of his time with, and obviously familiarity's there, and obviously what better way to go out on your last season than with the coach you spend most of your career with. So understandable.
I do not think, though, I will say this. I think Aaron Rodgers will retire, but I think he'll pull a Phillip Rivers. I think he'll come back maybe a year or two after his retirement. I think he'll come back on somebody's stretch run. A coach that he trusts, a coach that he knows, a coach that'll let him just be him. I can definitely see that. Sure.
I said this about Tom Brady. It didn't shock me at all about Phillip Rivers. So I definitely wouldn't put it past Aaron Rodgers. Like, hey, this looks good. Let me see if I can hop in for 5-6 games. Because the thing is with a lot of these old guys, man, it's like they don't want to go through OTAs. They don't want to go through training camp. Like they've done this for Brett Favre. They've done this for so long. It's like, just get to the games. Like give me some time to shake the rust off. I'll work out and I'll come in and I'll just play football. I don't want to go through all this BS with training camp and all that. Not to say young players. That's not the right attitude to have. You're not Hall of Famers yet. Go through all your stuff. But guys, when you get to that level, it's kind of the attitude.
I call it the OG level. You've earned that right. Aaron Rodgers has earned that right. His play has earned him that right to be like, okay, I'll retire here. Let's say, for example, Troy Aikman had that with Norv Turner. Norv Turner called him when he was a coach. He was a coach in Miami. Coach of coach of Washington, Miami. I think coach of Miami, San Diego. One of the spots he was at. He asked Troy, was he going to come out of retirement? So that's OG status. You won enough. You've shown enough. We know that you're great. We can depend on you as far as what we need you to do. So I think I don't think next year will be Aaron Rodgers' last year playing football. Not at all. JG, we're going to end the sports news segment with some sad news in the sports world. Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver, died at the age of 41 years old. He died due to pneumonia, which led to sepsis. Kyle Busch, his NASCAR career, he had 234 total wins, total NASCAR series wins. That was the most ever. And he was named one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers in 2022. Your thoughts on Kyle Busch?
Yeah, this really shocked. Just seeing that pop on ESPN's Bottom Line, I had to do a double take because I couldn't believe it. Just out of nowhere, this guy. If you didn't even watch NASCAR that much, you still knew who Kyle Busch was. He was one of those iconic racers with the Jeff Gordons, the Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s of the world. Those Kyle Busch is right there in that category. Because he's a winner. Guy was a winner, and it's just a really sad situation. Just how that came about. Reports were saying that the day before, he was this is terrible. He was coughing up blood and stuff like that. Just stuff that just came out of nowhere. You have no idea where this came from. And then the next day he passes away. So just my thoughts and prayers are with his family for sure. Sports world lost an icon here, especially in the NASCAR racing world.
Couldn't have said it no better, my brother. Kyle Busch, he died at the age of 41 years old. Send my condolences to his family, the sport of NASCAR. Tough loss. Again, as I say this every week, when as we get older, you start putting things in its proper perspective. I'm in my 30s. He's 41. That could be me. You know what I'm saying? So you start putting things in its proper perspective. Kyle Busch, like you said, had a notable name, one of NASCAR's best drivers. You didn't have to watch NASCAR to know who Kyle Busch was. He was on commercials. He went to games, whether it's basketball games, football games, baseball games, etc., whatever sporting event he liked. So, as I said, he was named one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers in 2022. I'm glad he was able to get that acknowledgement while he was here on Earth, to get his flowers and get celebrated. So, rest in peace to Kyle Busch, and all of us here at Highly Opinionated send our condolences to Kyle Busch's family, and the whole sport of NASCAR. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong path behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link, shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want, they have. Once again, Wolves of War. Make sure you guys go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. It's that time, JG. Ladies and gentlemen, the best segment in sports. This week's edition of Let's Talk About It. MLB season. Up to this date so far. Just give you guys some quick standing updates on where the baseball season is. The Tampa Bay Rays, they lead the American League. They're 34-18. The New York Yankees are 33-22. Cleveland Guardians are 33-25. There are 3 teams in the American League that has at least 30 wins. Over in the National League, you have 5 teams that have 30 wins. The Atlanta Braves has the best record in Major League Baseball. They are 37-18. The Los Angeles Dodgers are 35-20. The Milwaukee Brewers are 33-20. San Diego Padres 31-23. The Arizona Diamondbacks 30-24. Meanwhile, you have 4 teams. Yeah, you have 4 teams that have 29 wins in the National League. St. Louis Cardinals at 29-25. The Cincinnati Reds 29-25. Pittsburgh Pirates 29-26. And the Chicago Cubs at 29-26. By the way, the Cubs, man, they lost 10 straight. They won 10 straight and lost 10 straight. Can you imagine if they would have stayed on that heater? They probably would be first in the conference, first in the National League. So, JG, your thoughts on Major League Baseball, wherever you want to take it at, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, the Atlanta Braves are a clear threat to the LA Dodgers going for a three-peat. They have not just the best record in baseball, they have the best record on the road. I mean, the best teams in any sport, you have to win on the road. You know, it's more than just defending your home. And that's what the Braves have been showing so far this entire year. I think they're a legit threat to the Dodgers repeating. You can't rule out every year. San Diego, and the city of San Diego is my favorite place in America, I must say. But them damn Padres have been a thorn in my side every playoff series. There have been years where I thought the Padres should have taken out the Dodgers, but the Dodgers managed to pull it out anyway. But San Diego always scares me. But Atlanta has definitely emerged, in my opinion, as that number 1 threat. You know, elsewhere in the American League, the Rays have been off to a good start, but all eyes are still on the Yankees. Of course, there's so much star power, there's so much money being thrown around with the Yankees organization, like always, and there's always pressure on Aaron Judge to perform like he does in the postseason. You know, he's kind of like, and I guess we'll get to this name later, kind of like those guys like James Harden in the regular season versus the playoffs. Aaron Judge is one of the best players in baseball, no question about it, but history is starting to grow with him when it comes to big postseason play, that he's not the same guy and he doesn't show up. And as we know, you separate yourself from good to great to legendary when you get to the postseason. So those are my 2 takes here. And my last take really is the New York Mets have once again found to be the laughing stock of New York. It's like you've been the little brother of the Yankees forever. And you go out and you spend all this money to get Juan Soto. You get Francisco Lindor, you know, all these guys that you brought in, and you were one of the worst teams in baseball still. The other night, I believe it might have been last night's game, they're down 7-0, and they give this guy who just hit a home run, I forget his name at the moment, you know, they do the little hard hat and, you know, the construction vest and all that, and he's smiling. I'm like, dude, you're down 7-1, and you end up losing 7-2. The fans are literally booing you out of the stadium, off the field, and you're over here smiling. It's like, dude, money must be nice because these guys don't seem to care much about winning. Like Juan Soto, he's doing his job. Like the man's doing his job, but I think it's an atrocity that he chose this franchise in the same city, same state or whatever, over the Yankees to settle for this type of mediocrity. I just want to say all that.
No, you're 100% right. If you're going to be in a city, you might as well be. If you're going to be on a team that has two teams in the city, you might as well be on the best team, or at least trying to create your path with it. Like, for example, like Kawhi. I know I'm going basketball. Kawhi tried to create his own path with the Clippers. I know people are going to look at it as it didn't work. It's a failure. But they had a chance to at least get to a championship. The Mets have no chance of getting to the national. Like the Mets have lost 5 straight games, including they lost their last 2 games at home to the Cincinnati Reds, 7-2. So the Mets are always, like you said about Cleveland Cavaliers, and we'll get to them momentarily. We'll get to them later on in the show. But Cleveland is always going to Cleveland. The Mets will always Met. That's just what they do. They're going to get in their way. I want to spotlight the NL Central. All 5 teams in the NL Central have a winning record. The Milwaukee Brewers are 33-20. The St. Louis Cardinals are 29-25. Cincinnati Reds 29-25. Pittsburgh Pirates 29-26. The Chicago Cubs 29-26. I think that's the best division in baseball. All teams competitive. All teams around the same record. So as we get towards the bulging hot summer days when baseball is really played, the season is really, that's basically the heart of the baseball season. All these teams, I think, will be right around each other. Again, the last place team is 5 games back. If you look at the last place teams in every other division, the closest division is the AL West, and that's the worst division in baseball because every team is under 500. The Las Vegas Athletics are 27-28. They're first in that division. That's ridiculous. The Seattle Mariners are 27-29. The Texas Rangers are 25-29. The Houston Astros, man, they fall on the hard times, 24-32. I guess, man, when they had to stop begging on them trash cans, I guess that's when things got real for them, right? They couldn't cheat no more, huh?
Cheaters never prosper in the end.
I never forget my man Jose Altuve was running home and they was trying to throw something on. He like, no. That was the clear. I'm like, bro, this is the clearest sign this man has something on him. Like, why would you not to throw something on? That's crazy. And then the Los Angeles Angels at 21.
Unwatchable. My trial should be ashamed of himself for choosing them to continue to subject to this.
No, the Angels should be ashamed of themselves. They had 2 generational players and never made the playoffs. That's ridiculous. And the one generational player can literally do everything. He can hit, pitch. He can sit on the grass. I've seen him cut the grass. I've seen him grow grass. So, like, come on, man. Like, listen, you have 2 generational players. You can't even sniff the playoffs. Damn, the playoffs. You can't even make don't they got to play in or something? Wild card. You can't make the wild card in baseball? That's ridiculous, man.
But you know what? It makes me not feel bad for my trial because you could have easily axed out years ago instead of, like, wasting your time. I mean, it's Anaheim, California, brother. I understand. I really do. Why the hell would I want to leave that? There's a team up the road in LA that you could have joined, which your boy who was your teammate, who's, I think in my opinion, has a chance to win the Cy Young Award. He's already got 3 MVPs. I think with him pitching the full season, he's got a chance to win the Cy Young. So Shohei continues to build his just remarkable legacy and chasing to be the greatest baseball player we've ever seen in our time.
Yeah. I think Shohei has shown what he is and what he represents. I know it's early. People don't like to have GOAT conversations when people are playing. I think that's stupid. Shohei Ohtani, he's the best player of his era. Now, if he continues to do what he continuously does, then I think he'll be the greatest baseball. I think him and Barry Bonds will be in a room alone as the 2 greatest baseball players I've ever seen. Barry Bonds can't pitch like Shohei Ohtani, but Shohei Ohtani can't hit like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is so good. The bases were loaded. Buck Showalter walked a run in. I'm going to repeat that again. He walked a run in just so he wouldn't have to face Barry Bonds. That's ridiculous. Think about that for a second. That's unheard of. Like, you're going to pitch to the guy. You're like, no, like Aaron Judge. Like, you talking about Aaron Judge. Like, I'm looking at the home run leaders now. Kyle Schwarber. Aaron Judge, he had 17. Ben Rice had 16. The guy from the oh my God, I can't pronounce his name. guy from the Chicago White Sox, Milwaukee Kuma. Probably if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He has 19 home runs. You pitching to all them guys. You're not letting it, like, if the base is loaded, you're not going to walk in. You're not going to walk Aaron Judge. You're not going to walk Aaron Judge. You're not going to walk Ben Rice. You're going to pitch to him. And, all right, man, I take my chances. Like Barry Bonds, like, you actually walked in the run because you had it was a greater chance. It was a better chance than not. He was going to hit the ball than not hit the ball. So I think Shohei and Barry Bonds, they stand alone. And I think they'll stand alone as the best baseball players of our lifetime. I'm gonna give some love to there's a guy that's 9-0 so far as a starting pitcher, Aaron Ashby. He would be my leader right now for the Cy Young Award. Has a 9-0 record. He has a WHIP of 1.29, ERA of 2.06, and he has 49 strikeouts. And to me, along with the Brewers, obviously have good. The Brewers they obviously have good other players. They have time to hit. But I feel like the Brewers pitching is what allowing them to stay and continuously be in first place in the NL Central with a record of 33-20.
Great.
So, your LA Dodgers. I know they are two-peated. Went to Game 7 last year against the Toronto Blue Jays. Right now, do you think it's more likely than not that they repeat, or that they stumble on a way of trying to repeat?
I think the Dodgers starting to do three-peat. Again, I know that what the Atlanta Braves were doing, would have shocked me if the Braves beat them. No, because I believe they are on track to be that threat. I just told you about the San Diego Padres. They're always a pain in my side when it comes to like the playoffs. Philadelphia as well. You know, they want the Dodgers because they can't. I'm telling you this is I've been in Philly like during the Dodgers Phillies game. The hate there is real. You know, they want LA. But I think when it's all said and done, that if you're gonna beat this, you got to show me. I got to see on this TV that you beat this team enough times in the playoff series to say that they've been eliminated. And now with the addition of Kyle Tucker, you know, to add even more firepower to an already difficult firepower going against. You talk about Freddie Freeman. You're talking about Mookie Betts coming back, who's looked really good since he's come back from his injury, along with Shohei, along with Fernandez. You got to show me. There are the teams that I think can do it, sure, but until I see it, I'm going to take the Dodgers three-peating.
Okay, I can definitely understand that, respect that. You mentioned about the Yankees. I'll wrap it up with this. You mentioned the Yankees in the AL East. You said people were sleeping on the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm not. The Tampa Bay Rays, when we were growing up, they always will have not an outlier type of season, but they always will have a season where everything comes together. I think this is that season. I'm not predicting them to win the AL pennant. I need to see more. But for them to be 34-18, I know they only have a 2.5 game lead on the Yankees. To me, that's very, very impressive. And I don't think the Rays are just a flash in the pan. I think they'll be fighting for that AL East title for the remainder of the season.
I don't trust Tampa Bay. I've seen this start from them before. I remember they jumped out to a 25-4 start. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, look what's happening!" And then month to month, slowly but surely, they came back to earth, and then they just ended up falling flat. So I gotta Rays are going to show me something different because I have seen this start from them before.
Well, it would help. They lost, as I'm saying this, they were 34-15. They beat the Yankees. They got rained out on Saturday. On Sunday, they lost to the Yankees 2-0. And then that next two games, they lost to the Orioles, including that terrible loss Monday night. They lost 9-7. They were up, lost in the 13th, and all they had to do was just find a way to hold on to the lead, and they lost. And then they lost to the Orioles 6-1. So you could be right. However, I'm still riding with the Rays. I think they'll beat the Orioles Wednesday night. They fly out to LA to play the Angels 3 games in a row. They should win those 3. Then they play Detroit, see with that Miami. So I think Tampa Bay. I think the Rays I think they're here to stay, brother. I think the AL East, say Tampa Bay, New York division, one of those two will win the AL East. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick break. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is brought to you by Edibly Airy. Enjoy the heightened experience of THC edibles in a whole new way. At Edibly Airy, our freeze-dry edibles available in 100 milligram, 200 milligram, 300 milligram, 400 milligram, will give you the buzz you crave with a flavor you won't forget. Available in 3 different flavors: watermelon sunset, tropical fruit, and berry. To place orders, please visit the website at ediblyairy.com. While you're there at ediblyairy.com, use a promotion code. You guys see the promotion code on the screen. $ Highly Airy, $. Again, $ Highly Airy, $ for 20% off your first purchase. Follow us on IG at Edibly Airy for new product releases and monthly hookups. Must be 21 and over to purchase. Edibly Airy, the best freeze-dry edibles out. Go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. As you can see, we have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the head varsity basketball coach at Catonsville High School in Baltimore, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a highly opinionated welcome to Coach Jason Harris. Welcome to the show, Coach. How you doing, sir?
How you doing? I'm doing all right. How you feeling?
I am good, man. It's a privilege and an honor to have you on the show. I can't thank you enough for you gracing us with your presence on the show, man.
Yeah, appreciate you for giving me the invite, man.
Absolutely. It's a privilege and an honor to have you here, as I said before. So let's get into Jason Harris. Who is Jason Harris again? I said you're the head men's varsity basketball coach at Catonsville High School. Just give us some information about Jason Harris.
Yeah. Born and raised in Maryland. I've been in the Baltimore area, the Howard County area. Wound up at Catonsville High School. I guess I'll start from freshman year of high school. Always loved basketball. Grew up playing basketball pretty much my whole life. Got cut from the team my freshman year of high school. So it was one of those things where, all my friends were playing. Most of them made the team. I was the guy that was left out. I just wasn't ready. I was dribbling into the corner every time, getting trapped, getting scared with the ball, just throwing it. I could always shoot, but, just wasn't ready at that time. Wound up, attending Coach Wooten. I don't know if you know who Morgan Wooten and Joe Wooten is.
Yeah.
Attending the Wooten basketball camps. I did that every summer until I was done in high school. Made JV my sophomore year. Came back, made varsity again my junior year. Didn't play a lot. I guess I probably averaged like 2 points a game my junior year, but I was just, happy to be on the varsity level. Happy that I worked hard and it kind of paid off. And then transitioning into my senior year is when I kind of made a turn, started getting some confidence in myself, and I wound up being the second leading scorer on my team in my senior year, which is funny because I came off the bench and I was like the 4th, maybe 5th best player on my team at the time. So I was just a shooter. I'm just running off of screens. I'm playing off the ball. Dudes are setting me up and I'm just shooting the ball. So it kind of just worked out for me that way. And then after college, Catonsville High School is not one of those schools historically where you got a bunch of coaches coming to look at guys. Like, you don't have a bunch of guys in the stands recruiting. So at that time, if you wanted to play beyond high school, you had to pretty much do a lot of that work yourself at that level. So I remember my high school coach, thankfully, he made highlight videos for all of us because he was transitioning into a career of video editing. So he made us a little highlight tape, everybody on the team. And I think I emailed 130 schools, drafted up a nice little email, sent the clip of myself just asking for an opportunity. And that's how the college journey started from there. So I went my freshman year, went to a small school called Methodist University. It's a Division III in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay. I wasn't a fan of the school. I wasn't really a fan of, just what was going on over there. So, I didn't really play much. I told my parents at the time, I'm not happy here. I kind of want to, try something different. And one of my close friends at Methodist said, "Would you ever go to Florida?" And I was like, I never thought about going that far, but I want to play basketball. I would love that opportunity if it presented itself. So he called somebody over at Weber to then ask the coach if he would take a look at my videos and stuff like that. And then couple weeks went. I would say a month or two went by. Coach started emailing me, and I know people aren't too familiar with like the NAIA level versus the NCAA rules and stuff like that. But in NAIA schools, they over recruit. They have a different funding. They make what's called like expansion teams. So they'll have like a main team and they'll make like expansion teams. And a lot of those schools, they wind up, developing players and then they go somewhere else. So I got recruited. I actually got like a super small athletic scholarship, which was like a big deal for me at the time. Any kind of money to play basketball is like, hey, I don't care if it was like $400. Like you were giving me some money to play basketball, So he was asking me if I was interested, the coach at the time. And then I went on vacation in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and the coach calls me and asks if I want to sign to go play there. And he was like, I'm in Boston. I'm driving back to Florida. I can stop by Rehoboth Beach because I know that you're there if you want me to come, like, say what's up. And I was like, yeah, right. So I was like, but yeah, I do want to go. Like, I would love this opportunity. And that was the only school that was giving me a chance at the time too. So it was like, I'm not going to, beggars can't be choosers. Like somebody wants me,
You're not going to turn down the one opportunity where people are trying to not and see what's up, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm from Maryland. Florida's far away. It's uncomfortable, but I'm like, hey, like, it's something I want to do. Like, let's just go for it. And he drove his van from Boston, pulled up on me at the beach in Rehoboth with a letter of intent. Wow. And was like, yeah, and I signed it, took pictures with him. And then he continued his drive back down to Florida. And then the next school year, I was at Weber International the remaining 3 years of my college years. And it was a really great experience to see what that level was like, and to feel wanted by somebody. Again, that was only one school. So I can't imagine some of these guys and their decision making when they got hundreds of people blowing their phone up, asking them to come play for their school. So that's how my playing career kind of panned out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry, Coach.
No, that was good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's amazing when people feel wanted. It's amazing what they will do to make it happen.
I didn't expect him to do that. I was like, "There's no way you're gonna drive from Boston, stop at the beach in Delaware, and then go back to Florida." And he did it. He pulled up right where the beach house was, on the beach. Just, what's up? That was my first time meeting him.
Letter of intent, right in the hand.
Yeah,
that's an amazing story. That's a great story. It just shows persistence because, again, let's go back to what you said originally from the start. You said that you had to email people just so they could
every day.
Yeah, you had to send emails out constantly, consistently, show people that you wanted. And I second that emotion. There are a lot of obviously this show is not ESPN and Fox.
Yeah,
but when you watch this show, the people that are on it, you see that they really are passionate about sports.
Yeah.
They love sports. They want sports to be the best they can be. So
yeah.
I commend you for that. I'm glad that everything worked out for you to get down to Weber International University. So talk about your time at Weber International. I know you went into it a little bit before, but talk about your time down there. How did that lead to you eventually getting into coaching?
Yeah. So my first year there. So again, like I had always dealt with. I'm a shorter guy. I'm 5'8" with shoes on. I'm always the smallest guy on the court, but I could always shoot the ball. And I remember when I went to Methodist, the coach told me, he looked at me in my face and he said, "You will never get your shot off at this level with the type of shot that you have." He was like, "You shoot too low, your elbow's supposed to be up here." And I'm young. I don't know what's going on. I took word as bond. So I went into the gym for 5 months, changing my shot. That's always worked for me. Always was the smallest guy on the court, so it never was a problem. So instead of like telling me like, hey, we got to work on your release or work on your range, it was you got to change your entire mechanics. And I was miserable because I felt like I couldn't hit a shot for like a year straight just because I was just thinking about it so much. And so when I went to Weber, I had told my coach, he was a young coach at the time, Coach KT, I was like, my confidence is a little off. I'm not going to lie. Like this past coach, he told me XYZ, and he was like, I've seen you shoot, be yourself. Like that's who I came to sign is the guy I want to be with. So
we recruited you to shoot the ball, so shoot the damn ball. I got
exactly. So my first game, I caught the ball on the wing, and there was like a 6'6" guy underneath the basket who started to close out on me. I had plenty of space to shoot it, but I looked at him, second guessed myself. He's gonna block my shot. I put the ball on the floor, passed it. He subbed me out. I think I was in the game for like 45 seconds. And he sat me down, and I'm like, damn. And I asked him, I said, Coach, what'd I do? He was like, I brought you here to shoot the ball. If you're not shooting the ball, then what you doing here? And I was like, damn. So I was like, it took me a while to realize, like, all right, he's not being mean to me or he's not putting me down. He's telling me like, I can't have more confidence in you than you doing yourself. And you know, that's what you're good at. So do that. So ever since then, I my sophomore year of college, I just drilled in my head, like, do what you do best. Like, don't run away from that. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. Just go all in on what you do. And then every year I progressed. I played against a lot of good competition. We played against IMG Academy, like played against ex pros up there. And just the development that I got was just unmatched. Coach Grady Morrell, the women's coach there. Get back to your question of how did I get into coaching. So I'm a junior going into my senior year. I think my junior year just ended. I'm working out in the gym by myself, and he comes in, and he's a straight to the point, funny dude. He has a blunt personality, but he throws in jokes. But he was just like, Jason, you'll be a much better coach than you are a player. And I'm just like, what? Like I'm in the middle of a workout, and I'm working on my, I'm thinking of senior year. He's like, yeah, you'd be a much better coach than you ever be a player. And then just walked off. And I was like, I felt highly disrespected. Like highly
disrespected. I like that.
Highly disrespected at that time. And I think I waited a couple weeks and I went into his office. I was like, why'd you say that to me? Like, what are you talking about? And he was just like, this is what basketball is like as a player. Like, not many opportunities arise, like, especially he was just honest with your size. He said, but the way that you think and the way that you interact with other people and the way that you care about the game and approach it shows the attributes of a good coach. And I just want to put that seed into your brain. Like, that's another option too, because a lot of guys go all eggs in one basket to be a player. And then when it's over with, they don't know what's going on. And he just was like, I see something in you that a lot of these guys don't have. And that's just how you approach things, how you think about it, how you approach stuff. And then he was like, I want you to help me with my off-season skill development with the girls next year. So I was a sport management major, and a part of your senior year, you have to do a semester-long internship. So all these guys are, everyone in my class is going around the neighborhood, all the local businesses, emailing people, trying to find an internship because that's part of your graduation requirement. They don't set it up for you. So he hooked me up to run his whole off-season workouts with his players as a current player. as part of my internship. He was like, you set the schedule, you log in all the girls' hours, you write up the workout plan, you do the follow-ups, you do all the stuff, and then you turn it into me every week and tell me what everyone did, what they worked on, all that stuff. And I did that, and I was the only student with keys to the gym at the time.
Wow.
To just work out his girls. And that's how my coaching journey started. Was Coach Grady Morell at Weber just told me something that I didn't think about at the time. And then it's crazy when somebody tells you something, then you start to believe it. Like, oh, like I never thought about that, but like that sounds like a good idea. Like, let me explore that opportunity. And then I just fell in love with it ever since that day.
Now that's great to hear. I love the maturity that you showed in that story, because when you're young, we were all once young people. So when you're young, when you hear someone say say something to you that you might consider as disrespect, your first initial reaction is just to go off. Like, man, F you, what you talking about? No, I'm not gonna be this and not gonna be that.
I was mad at him. I was blown. I was like,
no, I get it, but but I love the fact that you sat and you waited.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You said you sat and you waited and you went to go see him a couple of days later. And I feel like sometimes in the heat of the moment, young people don't sit and actually analyze the situation. They take it as hate. Or you hating on me, or you doing this, or you doing that. No, it's not hate. Sometimes I always say this: young. I'm gonna use the expression, young fools. We want to be old fools. Yeah. So in order to want to be an old fool, you have to sometimes listen to the older folks because they've been around. They might see something in you that you don't see in yourself.
That's exactly what happened.
Exactly. Look at you now.
That's the first person that ever said that to me, like ever. And if you knew him, and like we didn't have like a close dynamic at that time like that. So for him to like say that, it just threw me off. Like, why are you saying that to me right now? Like, we were the only two dudes in the gym at the time. There's no one else in there at that moment. So it was just like a meant to be interaction that just kind of started the wheels to turn, and the rest was history from there.
I'm glad the women's coach at Weber International University said that to you.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Because you have the people skills to be an amazing coach, let alone the talent, let alone the skills, let alone the drills that you put the players through. You have the people skills. Yeah, you said something just as you was talking previously. You said that the coach before you got to Weber built you down. He tore you down. Yeah. I always look at coaching as, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have a problem with sometimes you getting in the player's ass, or you getting on them, as they say. But use this expression. I don't mind you tearing a player down if you can build them back up. If you watch the Western Conference Finals with Miss Johnson, Carter Bryant got into the game 4. He made a mistake. Miss Johnson yelled at him, "Don't do this, don't do that, blah, 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 blah." And then set him right back out there, sent him right back out there to keep playing so you can learn through the mistakes. Yeah. I feel like that's the best element of coaching. If you're going to tear, brother, like for example, you can shoot. Yeah. I'm recruiting you to shoot. Why am I going to tear down your jump shot? No, I'm going to try to build that up. Jason, listen, you can go 0 for 18. I'd rather you go 0 for 18 than 0 for 1 because you're trying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I went 0 for 10 one game, and the coach was just like, you better shoot the 11th one.
Yeah,
like,
keep shooting.
You better shoot the 11th one. But yeah, I try to look devil's advocate. Like, I don't necessarily know if he was intentionally trying to tear me down. I don't know. I just know that feedback that was given to me at that time, like maybe if he would have said the same exact thing to another kid, they might have interpreted it a completely different way. Yeah. But for me, I was always taught my coach's word means something. So he told me I need to change something, that I need to change it. And I took that like to heart. Absolutely. And it was to my detriment. So I would always say to kids now, like don't, coaches mean well all the time, but the delivery might not come off and match what they're saying. Exactly. So you got to build that relationship before you can, critique dudes a certain way.
Absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%. To me, it's a hand-to-hand relationship. Yeah. Yes, you're the superior, you're the coach, but the players have to buy in, and you have to buy into them. That's why I look at a hand-in-hand marriage, just a coming together moment, whereas though the coach and the players have to come. I want to say congratulations to you while you were at Weber International University.
Appreciate it.
You graduated with a bachelor's degree in sports and fitness management. So if there's anyone that's better to be a coach, I feel like you understand the fitness side, you understand the sports side, the management side of it. You graduated from Catonsville in 2011. As I introduced you, you're the varsity men's basketball coach at Catonsville. What was it like? What was it like to come back home, be the head varsity coach, and try to get the situation right at Catonsville?
Yeah, so it didn't happen in an easy way at all. It took a long time. So I graduated college 2015, and the varsity coach at the time was the JV coach when I was playing. So I reached out to him and I asked him if I could volunteer and I could come back and just help, because I didn't want to give up basketball. I wanted to be, start my coaching journey. I'm 21 years old at this time. I don't know what I'm doing. I have nothing but time right now. Like, I want to give back to my school, because every off season I would come back and get in the gym with guys as much as I could. And he gave me an opportunity. I mean, I was doing everything to sweeping the floor, to cleaning the basketballs off, to setting up the drills for the coach. I was doing everything, dirty work, all the stuff.
GA work, grad assistant work.
And I loved every second of it. Like, I'm here. Like, there's gum on the floor, I'm getting it off. Like, it just being in the gym to say I was a part of something that I was produced from was a blessing. So, did that, and then it's a long story short, but I was an assistant coach under 4 different head coaches from the span of 2015 to 2021, or around when I took over. So I served under 4 different head coaches. After 3 years of being a volunteer, I got the JV job. And then COVID hit. So it was a lot of adversity to push through during that time. So, I'm scrubbing the floors, I'm cleaning the basketballs, I'm setting the drills up, I'm on the sidelines. Then I get the JV job, start running my own program. Another coach leaves. I don't get the varsity job. I applied for the job, I think 2-3 times, didn't get it. And I'm thankful that I didn't get it the first couple times, because I don't think I was ready. And at first, when I first applied, because I told the athletic director too, like, this is my goal. Like, I want to be the head coach at my alma mater. Like, that is what I'm striving to do. And I'm going to stay here as long as it takes. And when I didn't get it the first couple times, I was upset. And I, again, back to that feeling disrespected, like you deserve it. Like, I put in all this work, I should be getting this opportunity now. Well, they didn't see it as the right time at that time. And now that I'm looking back, I'm thankful that I didn't get it at that point in time, because I had learned so much after that about myself, of, what are my flaws as a coach? What can I improve on? I need to become a better learner and a student of the people that I'm under. So I got to learn 4 different personalities, 4 different styles, 4 different offensive schemes, 4 different defensive schemes. They're all very different people. And I just took bits and pieces from all those guys. So then when I finally did get that opportunity, I kind of had a foundation of myself, of what I wanted to make the program. So when I got offered the head coaching job, I kind of already had a great, plan of things that I had learned in the past that I wanted to implement, and things that I didn't want to do. So it took me a while. It took me from 2015 to 2021, 2022 to get to where I'm at now.
No, that's definitely a great story. I love how you came back to your alma mater.
Yeah.
Served as a assistant coach, like you said, under four head coaches, and then eventually, when the time was right, you took over the head coaching regime. Talk about your assistant coaches. I always say a head coach is only as good as his assistants allow him to be.
So all of my assistant coaches are my former teammates at Catonsville.
Okay.
So We're all alumni. We're all still active players in a sense. Like we can still get up and down with the guys a little bit. But yeah, so everybody that's on my staff was a teammate of mine, and I felt like that was something that I wanted to do because, you know, as you're a player and you see some of the older coaches that are out there, some of them don't keep up with the type of kid that is now, the trends that are going on, the how to talk to the kids, how to relate to the kids. So if you're one of those older coaches that's still out there, I'm talking about like 50s, 60s, even 70s, if you don't change with the times, then it's going to be really hard to have a successful team. So, one, I wanted to have a younger staff, a staff that was more relatable to the kids. I wanted to have people that played basketball, and I don't think that's a requirement to coach to be like a great player or anything. I don't think that's true. But guys that played different positions, guys that saw the game from different lenses. So, you know, if there's a shooter, I know how to relate to him perfectly. If there's a point forward, my assistant coach who played that position could relate to him better. Maybe I can't do that. Somebody that plays in the paint, I have another assistant coach who all he knew was the paint. So it's different dynamic, different perspective that I think makes a well-rounded staff. Um, and you know, it's full circle moment at its finest, like being on the same court with them as coaches that we were as players. And it's even more, I'm even more grateful because our head coach started to come back. So now he's involved with us. He texts us after the games. He's at the games. He's, remember I told you he started transitioning to editing. He's still doing that. He comes to the game. He takes pictures. He takes videos. He makes our like our schedule posts. He does all the editing and stuff like that. So I think it was a strategic move on my point to have the staff that I have, because the alumni in total started coming back more. There was more buy-in from the community and former players, former students to rally around all of us, to make it more exciting again. Because there was a point in time in Catonsville basketball where it kind of, you know, we were never a basketball school. It's always been a football school, a baseball school, a lacrosse school. So we kind of brought some excitement back to basketball these last few years, and I think a lot of that has to do with the staff that I assembled.
Absolutely. Speaking of the staff that you assembled, you guys brought some excitement back to Catonsville.
Yeah.
What are your off-season plan for the players this off-season, and what are your expectations moving into next season? What are your goals?
Right now, school's still in session. Right now, to me, this is my opinion, it's all personal skill development. Like, we don't need to do anything as a team right now because one, you don't know what the team's gonna look like come the fall. You have no idea. So you know, I think right now is what can I get better at? Let me develop as a player first and foremost. So we're just in the gym right now. We're just, you know, I'm a big believer, like, I don't have to be under over top of them all summer long in terms of like AAU either. Like, if my point guard wants to go play on this AAU team and my shooting guard wants to go play on this A team, I actually encourage that because you need to learn how to take criticism and direction from another voice. Maybe this coach can help bring something out of you that we weren't able to this past season. So now when you come back, we can build on that. Because I feel like one voice all the time drowns out the message. So I encourage them to, expand their game. And then once the summertime starts dying down, like June, July-ish, we'll be in a summer league together. We try to do team camps when we can. We do, showcases. And then fall ball is when we really start to tighten up. Like, all right, let's start working on what we're going to run this season. Offensive schemes, defensive schemes. who can play with who. Let's start getting the guys' chemistry back together. So then by the time November rolls around, we've already gotten better as individuals. We've already, played together now. So let's start bringing it together for when the season starts so we can, be all on one accord right when the season starts.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
everybody has their own strategy for the offseason too. I feel like there's more than one way to do it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, do you have certain plans for the guards, the forwards, the centers, or do they just all individually do what they feel like they need to do to improve as a
So
team?
it's tricky too because we have a lot of guys that play more than one sport too. So I might have a guy who is a forward, but he plays football. So I don't get to see him in the fall as much because he's getting ready for football.
Absolutely.
Right now, I got guys that's running track. I got guys that's playing lacrosse. So that's the spring season. So I don't get them at this point. So I get different groups of guys at different phases. Midsummer is probably when I have most access to all of them.
Okay.
Because they don't have a sport going on. But yeah, like it might be a day I might go in the gym on a Tuesday and I might only tell my ball handler, the guys that's going to be running the show, to come in so we can work on reads. And then my assistant coach might have, the quote unquote bigs or the guys that's going to play down low and work on footwork and work on touch around the rim. Like everybody has a hand in it in their own way. Because off season is tricky, like with availability, guys being out, vacations, people got different AAU schedules, different stuff like that. So, we're just focusing on getting them dudes better as much as we possibly can at this point in the summertime.
I know this is a college sports dilemma, but
Yeah.
I feel like it will eventually start to matriculate to the high school level. Do you have to re-recruit your own players?
Well, so I'm at a public school.
Okay.
I gotta be careful how I say it. There's rules that are in place for everyone that don't apply to everyone.
Absolutely. I'm well aware of that.
And I'm at a school where we don't do and get to do some of the things that our surrounding opponents do and get to do. Now when you talk about like private school where you can actively recruit, that's a different ball game. But now it's one of those things where the public schools are trying to emulate the private schools, and you got guys committing on Instagram to another high school, and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like you just made a whole commitment post of going across the bridge to the other school. You know what I mean? I don't know. So in a way, to answer your question, yes. I personally am not going to beg a young man to come back to play for me. I believe that if you want to come play for me, it's going to be because you want to. Now, I'm never going to tell a family that wants a better opportunity for their son to not do it. Like, for example, if I have a guard who plays really well and Mount St. Joe wants to grab him, and he might get minutes over there, that's a better opportunity for your son. I'm not gonna try to stop that. But if you're trying to transfer because the school operates under a certain way and we're on the same level, then I'm gonna challenge the family in the question, be like, well, can you explain why? Are you running from adversity? Are you running from work? Are you running, are you trying to be handed something? So I guess to your question is, my way of re-recruiting my own players is doing right by them every day as much as I possibly can. And if that's enough, then that's enough. If that's not enough, then
it's not enough.
Then it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. No, I got you. So I graduated high school in 2011. I went to Calvert Hall. So you said Mount St. Joe.
Yeah.
A rival to Calvert Hall, Loyola, etc. When I was in school, there was never any talk. There were talks about people transferring. That happens every school.
You know Justin Beck?
I do. Yes, I do.
That's my guy.
He's a good guy. Great
Yes,
guy. I plan on having him on the show in the near future.
That's awesome.
He's a great dude. But when I was in high school, you never had to you never heard someone talk about, yo, like I have to be recommitted here. It was just like I'm either
Weird.
gonna be here or I'm transferring. Like people at Calvert Hall transferred to Dunbar. Okay, I got that. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Better situation for them. It was a guy. I'm sure you heard his brother. His name is Damian Lee. He transferred to the Calvert Hall, went on to the NBA. So it works, but it works out different varies for any and everybody. My point is that it's just funny to me that now I'm like, because I saw that. That's why I asked you. I saw a kid in middle school say, I'm not going to mention the school, but he said committed and then committed to I'm like, you committing to a high school? Like, well, all you got to do is just go up there and sign the papers and say you coming to the school. Like,
I think that we got to a point now where it's like, you know, they see stuff on TV and they see stuff online and it's attractive, the post, the Instagram, all the likes and the reshares and all that stuff. And I think they just get caught up in like that. But at the end of the day, when the ball gets thrown up into the air, you still got to hoop.
Yeah, you got to hoop.
And that Instagram love will go right away if you don't hoop. So,
hey, coach, I'll just say this. Obviously, I'm a person we talk on Instagram with the show page. When I'm right, it's crickets. When I'm wrong, sirens. So that's how it is. Like if you don't perform, you're gonna hear about it. You have to hear about it. That's just how it goes. So I commend you 1,000%. I want to say this. I commend you high school coaches and college coaches because it's not what it was 10, 15 years ago. It's a different beast. It's a different entity all in itself. So I commend you.
I'll tell you this. You got coaches texting and DMing players all the time, trying to steal them from you.
I believe it.
All over the place. And it's just like, how did we get to this point to where kids don't just grow up, go to the school and hoop where they're from and just try to beat whoever's not from there? Like, I don't know what happened, but we got far away from that.
Yeah. That money. Money will get you.
Yeah.
You talked about the family camaraderie at Catonsville. You guys are the Catonsville Comics. We like to have fun on this show.
Yeah.
However, when it's time to be serious, it's definitely time to be serious. Catonsville, you guys created the Catonsville Cup.
Yep.
It was for the MMIHS disease. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak on that disease and how that disease has hit home personally for you.
Yeah. So the Catonsville Cup, Coach Mike Moeller, the girls' varsity coach, he hosts an event every year where all 4 teams, girls and boys, varsity and JV, play. It's like our own little holiday tournament. And every year, he raises money from what the game makes and donates it and gives back to a cause that's personal to him. Well, as you may have read and what you may have seen online, my daughter was born with a chronic illness called MMIHS. Essentially, that's a disease that affects the smooth muscles in her GI tract as well as her urinary tract that prevents her from eating and using the bathroom on her own. Just comes with a lifelong, thing of challenges. And Coach Mike Moeller was gracious enough to dedicate the Catonsville Cup this year to my daughter. And I think moving forward, he's gonna allow me to host that game and dedicate it to my daughter. Just because, rare disease awareness is something that I always saw, but it never really was something that I focused too much on until it happens to you. So, me and my fiance, we started something called Hype Your Stripes. So the universal sign for rare disease awareness is zebra stripes. So really, Hype Your Stripes is that's why it was called the Hype Your Stripes basketball game. Just to remind people that we're all born with things, we're all different, and to kind of own your uniqueness and own what makes you who you are, whether it's an ailment or something that disables you or something that holds you back, to still own it and not let that dictate how you live your life to its fullest capacity. So I was super fortunate. A lot of people showed up. We were able to raise money and give back to the hospital that we were at, the Ronald McDonald House. We were able to give back to her own foundation. So that to me is why I love being the coach at Catonsville, because the community at the end of the day, basketball is basketball, but like when things real life is happening, it was such a refreshing experience to see people rally around me and my family and support us outside of just being the basketball coach. It was just us as human beings going through something. So I'm super grateful that I'm a part of, Catonsville community and being able to experience something like that.
I'm going to give a special thanks to WBAL 11
Yeah.
Baltimore, Mindy Becerra, who did the report on MMIHS.
Yeah.
I'm going to give to you and your fiance. You guys are amazing people.
Appreciate
when I first saw this story, I saw this story before reaching out to you. When I saw this story, it was a no-brainer for me about having you on the show. Obviously, your basketball expertise.
Yeah.
You do great at that. You build yourself up again from Weber International University. You started off at Marist University your freshman year at D3 and then moved up to Weber. So you're kind of self-explanatory. You're trying to turn Catonsville from a non-basketball school into a basketball school.
Yeah,
so commended and saluted all that. But when I saw the story about your 1-year-old daughter at the time, she was 1 then. She's still 1 now.
She's about to be 1.5 now. Yep.
She'll be 2 in December. So
in February she'll be 2.
She'll be 2 in February. So when I saw this, you and your amazing fiance, man, you guys are amazing people. Not only to be vulnerable enough to share the story, but be vulnerable enough to make sure people have awareness of MMIHS. Any way we can help here on Highly Opinionated, we want to help. Next year, when you have the Hoops for Stripes game, if you can let me know, I would love to attend. If I can commit anyway, if I can commit anything, $1, $100, $200, whatever, I'll be willing to help.
Appreciate that.
I get emotional about kids because they didn't choose to be here.
No.
So they don't choose to get the type of stuff, the type of BS, whether it's cancer, whether it's etc., that happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
No one should get it, but I'd rather be an adult because we'll be able to handle it. Listening to you, reading on it, listening to your story about your daughter, Penelope, right?
Penelope, yeah.
Penelope, yes. You guys are amazing people.
Appreciate that.
Penelope, any way we can help you, we will do that here on Highly Opinionated. Just say the word.
Appreciate that. That means a lot.
Absolutely, man. Your visit means a lot, man. Thank you for being vulnerable and being open, sharing that story. I appreciate it. Once again, shout out to Mindy Becerra, WBAL, Channel 11, Baltimore. Coach, we're going to get you up out of here on a more fun. The NBA playoffs. We have the New York Knicks. They're currently up 3-0 in the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 4 is Memorial Day night, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Yep.
Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, a series that is tied 2-2 between the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder, will be Tuesday night, May 26th at 8:30 on NBC and Peacock. Your thoughts on the NBA Conference Finals?
New York's gonna lose today.
Okay.
They're gonna win at home.
Okay. Game 5. They'll lose game 4. They'll win game 5.
I think they're gonna win game 5 at home in New York. I think it's gonna be a party over there to celebrate them. I think that's just how they want it. I think Cleveland's gotta get a game, or I don't know. James Harden's legacy is already tainted, in my opinion. Like he I don't know what's going on with them. Wemby is unreal. I am not a fan of the OKC Thunder at all. I know I see why they're good. I love how complete of a team they are.
They are a complete team.
But the antics just give me headaches. And I feel like they're too good to do those things. So I don't know, man. That game, if it goes 7, it'll be in OKC, right?
Game 7 will be in Oklahoma City, sir.
That might, yeah. I would like to see the Spurs win. I mean, I don't think they have an answer for Wemby, but I think if it goes to 7 in OKC, that's going to be tough.
Absolutely.
That's going to be tough.
I'll hit you with this. If the Spurs, because we all right, listen, I picked the Knicks to beat the Cavs in 5. None of this is surprising. I hope for your sake and my sake the Cavs win the game so I can be right. Knicks in 5.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I said last week I plead the 5th. So the Knicks going to win in 5. I agree with you. They'll either sweep or at worst win in 5.
Yeah.
For the Western Conference Finals, I'm going to just leave you with this note. If the Spurs and the Thunder are forced to play a Game 7, that would be very detrimental to the Spurs because it's hard for me to see a team winning Game 1 of the Conference Finals on the road and Game 7 of the Conference Finals.
That doesn't happen very often.
The last time I can remember a team doing that, was 2002. The last three of the Shaq and Kobe and Phil Jackson Lakers. Sacramento in Game 1 at Sacramento. And then they turned around. That was the series where Vlade tapped the ball out to Robert Lewis and he hit the shot.
Yeah.
And then Game 7, they won in Sacramento. That game went to overtime. So that was, what's that, 24 years ago?
I think that if it was to happen though, this is the team that can do it though.
Yeah, I mean,
if that whistle is called the same way both sides, I think it could be done because they've shown a formula that can beat them. They have the Spurs have shown a formula that can beat OKC, but I just feel like I don't know what's going on with the whistle, man. I don't. Look,
we need to get them referees and referee some of your Catonsville games.
Yeah, man. Like we don't. I look at some of these games and I'm just like that's deflating as a defender.
Yeah.
When you're there, and a dude just falls and you reward him for that.
It's a foul. Yeah. It's
now some of them are legit, but I feel like it's just like why are you always on the ground, bro? Like always on the ground.
And then with OKC, it's like. For me, and I'm not discrediting them, they're great champions.
Yeah,
they're in the Western Conference Finals, so that tells you how valid, how much validity they have to that team. But I will say they do get calls that other teams don't. Game 4, SGA went up for a shot. Stephon Castle just grazed him. It was a foul. They do the same thing. Stephon Castle gets grazed. It's a no call.
Yeah.
So you know how it is. Like this coaching. The refs, especially in college and the NBA, the whistle going to favor more the star player. We get that. But we would just love for the games to be called
the same.
Yeah, the same. Just call it right.
Because Wemby gets hit every time.
If you're gonna be aggressive, that's why he clocked Nas Reed.
Yeah, he gets hit every time
to the ground. If you're gonna call it physical in the first quarter, don't make it soft in the fourth quarter. That's the money quarter. Let's let the game. I always say this when I play. Call the game the same way the whole game. If it's gonna be soft in the first quarter, let it be soft in the fourth. It's gonna be physical in the first.
And then you can adjust.
Exactly.
And I feel like the players they will adjust. Like they'll adjust to it. Okay, if you being soft, it's gonna be a high scoring game. Like it's gonna be weak side help. I might not be able to be up in your face as much. But if you letting us play, now I'm gonna fight over these screens. It's gonna be a lower scoring game. You know what I mean? I can adjust to my game plan as a coach that way. But when it's like one possession over here, I just breathe and you call foul. And then over here, I'm getting chop blocked off out of the air. It's like I don't know. Exactly. I love it. I love this. This is the most exciting playoffs I feel like I've watched in a few years, though.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely exciting because it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Teams are fighting hard.
New teams too. It's fresh. It's not the same teams over and over. You know what I mean? Like San Antonio has climbed their way back from that Duncan era, and the Knicks haven't been relevant since Melo, and even then they weren't doing anything. So it's a good playoffs for me.
Absolutely, I agree with you 1,000%. I love the NBA playoffs. You find out what's really what in the regular season's 82 games. We watch. I host a sports show, so I have to watch college football, NFL, baseball. So there's a lot of stuff going on when the NBA season start up. But during the playoffs, now you're like right now.
Focus on you.
The Knicks and the Cavs are the only show in town. I can't go watch nothing else. I only can watch you, so I can find out your strengths and your weaknesses. So you're definitely right. Hopefully, the NBA Finals should be hopefully the NBA Finals is as great as the Western Conference Finals.
I hope so.
I'm hoping so too.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Jason Harris, it's a privilege and an honor to have you on Highly Opinionated. We look forward to having you back on the show in the future, my guy.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on and letting me share my story. Much appreciated. You guys doing a good job over there. I'm gonna share the video. Make sure everybody subscribe and follow you guys too.
Absolutely, Coach. Yeah. We would love to have you back on next basketball season, and some of your assistant coaches as well. Spotlight them on their basketball journey and things like that. Coach, keep doing an amazing job. And by the way, I will be DMing you for that hoops for hype for stripes. I will,
got you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the great Jason Harris. He is the varsity basketball coach at Catonsville High School in Baltimore, Maryland. We're taking a quick break. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong pad behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link. Shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want, they have. Once again, Wolves of War. Make sure you guys go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. JG, my brother, we're going to end the show as always discussing the NBA playoffs. And we are down to the final three. Let's start off in the Eastern Conference. John, you said the Knicks were winning what, 5, 6?
I said 6.
6. I said I like the Knicks in 5, right? Well, they beat both of us. They beat the hell out the Cavaliers in 4. 4. They won game 4, 130-93. So let me say this. The Atlanta Hawks had a game 6 in their arena. They lost by 50 some points. The Philadelphia 76ers had game 4 in their arena. They lost by 30 something. And the Cleveland Cavaliers had game 4 in their arena and they lost by 30 something. New York Knicks are on a magical run. The New York Knicks have had a perfect May. The last time they lost the game was in the first round against the Atlanta Hawks. And John, before I get your thoughts on the New York Knicks advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, winning the Eastern Conference Championship and advancing to the finals since 1999. The fans in New York, they're not shy to let you know what they think about their New York Knicks.
It's the fucking Knicks! It's on that fucking jersey! Who the fuck wants to go to Ohio? LeBron to my dick! Look at the Knicks going to the finals. It's like Jesus returning. We smoking on the pad. Bounce up! Bounce up! They're fucking butt! This shit looking like New Year's! Hey, yo! How you get a flag up there? Tell James Harden, mama coming for dinner, nigga! Fuck James Harden! Fuck them strip clubs! Get the fuck off the strip club, nigga! Donovan Mitchell, we not delivering to your house no more, nigga! Next up, finals! Jalen Brunson! It's the fucking goal! I don't speak no French, Wembenyama! You gonna send that nigga back to France! Word! Get your fucking forward, baby! Smoking all that fucking Cleveland back! If we win the finals, we burning the city down!
Yeah. So the New York Knicks, man, it's been a long time since 1999. The fans, man, they are ecstatic, elated, smoking on that Cleveland Cavalier pack. Your thoughts on the New York Knicks advancing to the 2026 NBA Finals?
No, I don't know what the hell I just seen just now. Like, what the fuck? Wait a minute. Hey, yo. It's my first time seeing it.
This man said, I don't know, but I just saw it right there.
I don't even know what the hell I just seen, bro. You know what?
Yo, I'm done. I'm out. I gotta go, man.
Y'all got me with that one. I did not see that word for the first time to this now. That's wow. I mean, this is why I kind of like people want to see. It's cool when the Knicks are relevant. Like, bro, like the real talk, all jokes aside, it's cool to be like in a time where like the Knicks are in the NBA Finals, like they're a relevant team. I mean, last time this happened, I was maybe 8 years old. You know, when the Knicks were like that with Trevor Sprewell, Allen Houston, and those guys. So it's cool. But we also see why a lot of people don't like New York fans, because that right there was just like, oh, y'all leave. I mean, y'all ain't win the championship. Yeah, I understand these are historic times, but
Hey, bro, they had a whole celebration for winning the East. Like, it was confetti. They had
I thought they won. I thought they won it all. I'm like, the finals must be over. The way they said, I said, God. I mean, the Amazon guy said we ain't delivering to Donovan Mitchell's house. Hey, look at the look. But basketball wise, man, like it's funny because I watched my favorite sports show that I watched his first tape. And I remember watching Stephen A. while he was in DC. Man, about to have a migraine or a stroke or whatever after the Knicks went down 2-1 to Atlanta. And I was laughing. I was laughing because, like, you know, it's funny when, like, it's funny when Stephen A. get into his animations and all. It's good TV in my opinion. If y'all want to laugh, but ever since then they haven't lost a game in the playoffs since that rant, which is crazy. And Mike Brown, you know, I can't give this guy enough credit for like how much this man's been fired from Cleveland twice, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like he coached LeBron in Cleveland, and then he went back to Cleveland, and then coached him again. Didn't he come back to Cleveland? I'm not sure. But
I'm about to give you this coaching record. Go ahead, though. I got you.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that. But being fired from Cleveland, being fired from Sacramento, you know, a lot of people didn't think he was, you know, fit to be a head coach. We thought he was more of an assistant coach type. But just the way that he's evolved this team offensively, you know, putting the ball in Karl Anthony Towns' hands, like we keep saying, letting him be sort of the main facilitator and playmaker for this offense. It's just unlocked everyone that's out there on the floor, from Jalen Brunson, who's your ultimate closer, and, you know, having a chance to be one of, if not the best New York Knicks of all time. You have Josh Hart, who's playing better. Let's give some love to Mikal Bridges, because we both been on this show. So I'm talking about, where the hell are you? The Knicks gave up all these assets, mortgaging their future for this guy, and we've been on him, and he's been playing great basketball as of late. He's been playing really great basketball on both ends as of late. Landry Shamet has come off the bench and been an effective scorer. Jordan Clarkson has done the same. Deuce McBride, guys off the bench. Mitchell Robinson, even though he can't shoot a rock into the ocean, he's been effective, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So, and honestly, I know that they're going to be underdogs no matter who they face, whether it's San Antonio or whether it's Oklahoma City. They will be underdogs. But I gotta tell you, the Knicks have a shot to make these finals competitive. I'm not ready to say they're going to win it, because I think that the team in the Western Conference is just going to be a better team and more, you know, just a better team overall. But the Knicks can make this competitive because, again, their offense is humming. They're an absolute machine right now, and they have two-way guys that can out there. Guys that can make threes, but also can defend. Josh Hart, who's been shooting the ball better. Mikal Bridges, like I mentioned. Landry Shamet to a lesser degree. Karl Anthony Towns is even starting to play more defense without fouling, and that's something I was nowhere near thinking that was going to happen. So if you have that going on with Karl Anthony Towns playing defense without fouling,
no, not even playing defense without fouling. My bad for cutting you off, brother. What? He's playing smart basketball. He's a former #1 pick who always played, and if I'm taking the words from you, I apologize, but he's always played dumb basketball. Like, I commend you. You're a smart basketball player. You're going to make the right play. It might not be, now you know this, how I am. John, I've told you, bro, why you pass the ball? You should have shot that. So my mentality is different. But you're going to make the right basketball play 9 out of 10 times. You're not going to, what I call, get in stupid situations. Like, you'll make the best of the situation. Karl Anthony Towns was a #1 pick in the draft that was just doing dumb shit at certain times, like fouling, flapping, flailing, all type of dumb stuff. He's not doing that no more. So now that makes the Knicks better. And like you said about Mike Brown, just to complete your point on Mike Brown, and then I'll give you the floor to continue. Mike Brown has had a winning record everywhere he's coached. He's coached in Cleveland. He's 305 and 108. Yes, he did have 2 stints in Cleveland. He got fired twice in Cleveland, like you said. 2005 to 10, 2005 to 2010, and then 2013 to 2014. He coached in Sacramento. Sacramento, his record was 125 and 121 in Sacramento. So it wasn't like he was a terrible coach in Sacramento. He coached the Lakers. He was 42-29. He coached there one season. And then he's coaching the Knicks. They obviously have a winning record with this season. So Mike Brown, to me, people used to make fun of him saying he's a defensive coordinator. No, he's an established head coach now that has learned from Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich. He's learned from the stops that he's been at to make him a better overall coach now.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just, if you combine that with how these Knicks, again, I can't emphasize how impressed I've been with Karl Anthony Towns on the defensive side of the ball, as well as what he's doing on the offensive side. The Knicks can make this finals much more competitive than people realize. Like, I'm not ready to say that they're going to win. Now, health matters. Who wins this series matters. It's like you think about Oklahoma City not being fully healthy. If they win, does that come into play? Even though they're playing phenomenal basketball, even though they're down a couple of guys, or is it San Antonio? How does that matchup go? And if I had to pick the more favorable matchup for New York, again, not saying they're going to win, I would say that they have a better shot if they were playing against the San Antonio Spurs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. But the Knicks are on a heat regardless, and it's a cool thing to celebrate. But I'm gonna calmly tell New York fans, I'm glad y'all happy, but calm down. This ain't the Larry O'Brien trophy. That's what we all playing for. That's what we all want as fans for our respective teams. Cool out just a little bit.
Yeah, in the great words of the late great Kobe Bryant, job not finished. Job finished. Job not finished. So again, they should celebrate. You haven't been to the finals in almost 30 years. So you should celebrate. The players are not celebrating, that's the fans. And the fans, fans is short for fanatic. Like, I think most people forget that. So the fans can do whatever they want. The players, after they mollywhopped Cleveland in game 4, they were saying 4 more. So I love that for the New York Knicks. Let me just briefly talk on the Cleveland Cavaliers because they had some malpractices.
Oh, I got a lot for Cleveland. I got a lot for Cleveland too, but I'll let you go ahead. I got a lot for Cleveland.
They had some malpractices in the series. To me, the Eastern Conference Finals was lost in game 1. They were up by 20, and the Knicks came back and won that game. And when the Cleveland Cavaliers lost that game, the literal life went out of their body. Now, Kenny Atkinson, sir, you're a good man. You're a good man, and I'm never ever going to tell a coach in a national league what to do or what they should say. But I can say, having a show, that I think what you said is smart or dumb. Kenny Atkinson, you can think whatever you want. Let me give you a life lesson. You can think whatever you want. Don't say everything that comes to your mind, your ass get in trouble. I'm gonna repeat that again. Don't say everything that comes to your mind, your ass get in trouble. Trust me, Kenny. I'm learning that in different aspects, in different ways in my life. Trust me, Kenny. Trust me on that, Kenny. You can't say everything that comes to your mind. Sir, I don't give a fuck about analytics. Analytics can kiss my black ass, okay? We play games to win. We're not playing to like, well, analytically, we won 2 of the 3. No, bro. No, listen. I use this analogy with men. I'm going to use it with women. A man can have 10 bodies. A man can have 10 sexual parts. All 10 of them ain't gorgeous. All 10 of them ain't ugly. There's a fine balance in it. A woman can have, I'm not going to give her 10. Let's say she can have 3 sexual partners. All 3 sexual partners aren't beautiful. All 3 sexual partners aren't ugly. There is a balance. Bro, that's when you look at analytics. When you judging stuff like that. When you're judging sports, we look at winning and losing, bro. We don't look at no damn analytics. Sir, don't say everything that comes to your mind. That is ridiculous. Like, you can't do that. Like, you will get in trouble for that. As my co-host has his hand over his face. Like, bro, you can't do that. That was dumb. That was stupid. Bro, analytics matters in everything to me but sports. Yes, should analytics be a part of sports? Yes. It's not the end-all, be-all. For you to go out there and say that y'all analytically won 2 of the 3 games, sir, Dan Gilbert should have fired him on the spot. Should have fired that man on the spot. They should have fired him right before game 4 and just like, oh, we going to lose anyway. Like, we have no chance of winning. They should just went in there and let an assistant coach, and then they hire a real coach at the end of the season. Jason Kidd's available. They could have went out and signed Jason Kidd. Come on, man. Like, that's the dumbest thing you can ever say. And then James Harden. Listen, James Harden to me is an all-time great. He's an all-time great player. You can question his playoff woes. He has a lot of playoff woes. I get that. James Harden is a turnstile now. He was a turnstile before. They're literally like, bro, we want you. We're going to dance on you. Listen, James Harden is a great player. If you're trying to win a championship, you should not be trading for James Harden. I learned that the hard way with the Clippers. So anything after that, you should know, like, you're not going to. The Clippers traded him away for Darius Garland, not necessarily because they thought Darius Garland was a better player, because they wanted something new in the locker room. They wanted something different in the locker room. James Harden is a great player. I'm not shitting on his career. You can't put James Harden and championship in the same sentence. They don't go together.
A lot to digest, especially with your metaphor with analytics, where it should apply it. Cleveland, here we are again. Just like last year, just like
you sound so upset. You sound so upset, bro.
No, I'm not even upset. It's just like I feel bad. I feel bad because here we are again. Cavaliers underachieving. Make disappointing people think, who buy into them. And I keep trying to tell these people, don't buy into Cleveland. They just keep, and even I'm disappointed in myself because I was too generous. I gave the Cavaliers to win 2 games in this series. I was overly generous once again because I overestimated Cleveland. I apologize. They are an atrocity and a disgrace. This series was over after game 1. There shouldn't have been a game 4. We should have gone back to the late 90s or the early 2000s where the first round was only 3 games. I know we're in the Eastern Conference Finals, but there should not have been a game 4. Just wrap the damn series up because this was an abysmal display of effort. Donovan Mitchell at least looked like a guy that wanted to be out there, but the rest of them did not look like they wanted to be out there. They looked like they had their bags packed and their plane tickets bought for whatever European vacation they had that rich people go to. They had those plane tickets bought. Like that was right. Wheels are up maybe like in the next 12 hours after the game. Hell, maybe the night after the game. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I think one of them probably had a plane right on top of the arena. They flew right to their destination soon the game was over.
It probably did. There are just a couple of plays in game 3 especially where Jalen Brunson, it looked like the whistle was blown and Jalen Brunson was just playing anyway. But he just drove and had a layup. There was no effort at a rotation. There was no effort at pointing. There are literal plays where I'm watching James Harden just stand and not move. Now, James Harden has never been a defensive player. I know this, but dude, can you at least try? Yeah. And I can't even say you didn't try because you know what? I thought James Harden actually tried because in the past of the playoffs, it looked like this man did not try. He was putting effort in to lose and look not anywhere near himself. But the bad thing was, and I'll say this more on Club JG as well, this man was getting his ass busted in ways we have never seen James Harden by Jalen Brunson. This man had no chance against Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was looking for him. I mean, where is James Harden? Bring his ass to me so I can keep dusting him over and over and over and over again. And I even see James Harden trying. He couldn't do anything. I just, and again, I'm going to say this: James Harden will go down as one of the top 5 greatest players in the NBA to never win a championship because he ain't winning. I was concerned when Cleveland. I was doing a show.
I don't know if he's a top 5 player that never won a championship. He might be an accomplishment, but like I'm judging the 5 players. Like I don't know if he's a better player than Malone. I don't know if he's better than Barkley, Iverson, Elgin Baylor. I know Elgin Baylor won one with the Lakers, but Elgin Baylor wasn't really on that team. So that's 4 players. And again, I know James Harden is going to average more than these players. That's fine. That's just the 4 I can think of. Obviously, you got Joel Embiid in this era who hasn't won a championship. Chris Paul never won. I don't know if James Harden is a better overall player. Like I would rather have Chris Paul. What I mean by this is James Harden is a better player than Chris Paul for sure. But on my team, I would rather have Chris Paul because Chris Paul will give me everything he got.
And that's understandable. Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards ever played the game. So I do understand that argument. But I just mean from a talent perspective, on the basketball court. Like Allen Iverson was a dominant force, like transcendent talent at barely hitting 6 feet. To me, he is the greatest player to never win a championship. And then you can think about Penny Hardaway. You can think about Chuck's, of course, and then Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, those guys. You can think about those guys. But James Harden, I think, will be in the conversation when we talk about talent players who have never won a championship. But it's just, and I agree with you, Jay. Like when the Cavs first traded for James Harden back in February, I talked about this in San Francisco during Super Bowl week. You can't keep jumping teams to try to win a championship when clearly you're the problem. And I hate saying that because James Harden has been one of my favorite players to watch over the past decade. Love watching James Harden play, but he's one of the most lethal scorers we've ever seen touch a basketball. But bro, you keep jumping team to team like there's a better opportunity, but you the problem. You've been the problem for years, and there's this famous video that's gone viral way back then that this guy called him out when I think he was leaving Houston. He said
Dallas Mavericks. I think it's a Dallas report. Some report. I think it's a Dallas.
Yeah, and I just remember him saying what he said, and I was like, my God, he was so far ahead of his time before any of us saw it. They knew, and I don't know what more evidence you need. And this is why the Cavaliers are an unserious franchise, because you talk about Kenny Atkinson. Oh, analytically, we won the game. Or James Harden saying after he got swept, I still think we're a better team. And you know what? You may be just as talented.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him saying that. I have more problem with the analytic part because as an athlete, you have to be. I call it. You have to have screws loose to think you're the best of the best. I got that. And really, and I don't want to paraphrase for James, but really what he was saying was, if we would have won game one, this would have been a totally different series. And I believe that. I think the Cavaliers would have at least won another game.
Yeah, but I can't give you that, man. Like I hear you, but I can't give you that, man. Like you got to win 4.
No, I know, I get that, but I'm saying in order to win 4, you have to win 1. Then you have to win 2. Then you have to win 3. You can't win 4 if you won 0. And my point is that when they were dominating the Knicks in game 1, they were for a while. I'm like, all right, Cleveland gonna win game 1. All right, so be 1-0. The Knicks better win game 2, or they're gonna be in trouble. And I'm watching the matchups. I'm looking how Cleveland's playing. I'm like, okay, they don't really match up well, but they're playing hard. They're playing good enough. And then the Knicks had that run in the fourth quarter in game 1, and that ended their life. I don't have a problem with James thinking that the Cavaliers are a better team. But what Kenny Atkinson said, bro, you can't say that out loud because you're the coach. The coach is supposed to be the realist of the team. The players are supposed to have the grandeur of the team. Did you get my point?
Yeah, I got you on that. But every year we do this with Cleveland, like, oh, they're the better team. They're a talented team. But we get to these points and it's the same stuff. And it's not even that they're soft. There's people that are calling the Cavs soft and all that. Okay, cool. You want to call them soft. I don't think they were soft because you did beat the Detroit Pistons in 7 games. I thought it took a little bit of will and some heart to do that because Detroit's not as talented as Cleveland, but they play tougher and more physical and they play with some heart. But
and Toronto in the first round.
Yeah, Toronto's a gritty team that's not as talented. You know, Cleveland was a more talented team and they played harder. So I won't go so far to say they were soft, but it's just like if it looks soft the way that you went out, man, it's like it just looked like you didn't give a damn after game 2. When you came home, there was no life. I was saying like Jalen Brunson drives for a layup, and I thought that the game stopped and Brunson was just playing anyway, like the whistle already blew. And they went ahead and did that. And it's just like then you bring the analytics guy, Kenny Atkinson. It's already been announced that he's coming back for another season. You're not a franchise that's serious about winning. We can't take you serious. You're in discussions with James Harden for a multi-year deal, a guy that you're not going to win with because James Harden is the problem. And you bring back Kenny Atkinson after the abysmal comments we've heard him say game after game after game. You're going to bring that guy back. You're not serious about winning. It's going to be the same guys. Yeah, they'll be a talented team. They'll win some games. They'll get into the playoffs. Everybody will be like, oh, watch out for Cleveland. They were a sleeper in the Eastern Conference. I'm like, no, they're not. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing. They'll win a series, maybe even 2. But when it comes to that moment where it's time to show how talented of a team you are, you disappear. To the point where I even feel bad for Donovan Mitchell. I would ask out of Cleveland if I was Donovan Mitchell because at least he showed up. Did he play well? No, but at least he looked like he wanted to be out there. The rest of them did not look like they wanted to be there. There shouldn't have been a game 4. That's how pathetic Cleveland is.
Yeah, me and you disagree on that. Donovan Mitchell showed up, and numbers wise, he don't get a pass from me. Nah, you the best player. James Harden shouldn't get more blame than Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was the best player on the team. You're part of the fourth quarter of them blowing that lead. You didn't get the ball. You standing in the corner. Why the hell you standing in the corner? You the best player. So I get it. Listen, I got nothing but love for Donovan Mitchell. Loved him at Louisville. Loved him at Utah. Loved him in where is he now? What team he play for now? Cleveland. I love him in Cleveland. Good for him. Nah, I'm not going to blame James Harden more than I blame him. James Harden gets some blame. The coach gets some blame. But you're the best player. You get the ultimate lion's share of the blame. You're supposed to have your guys ready. You're supposed to have your guys ready. Where I blame Kenny Atkinson is Kenny Atkinson didn't push the right buttons. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't play with your food. The Cavaliers had a chance to beat Toronto in 6. It went 7. Cleveland had a chance to beat Cleveland in 6. Cleveland had a chance to beat Detroit in 6. It went 7. You play with your food, eventually your food gonna get taken from you.
And that was my next point. People are talking about, oh, they just came off a grueling 7-game series. They're probably tired. They're probably fatigued. I don't want to hear shit about being tired and fatigued. We're trying to win a championship.
You made it a 7-game series. If you did
your
job,
you did it yourself. There's no way in hell the Toronto Raptors should have been in 6 games with you. There's no way.
7.
I mean, I'm sorry, 7 games. I apologize. There's no way this game should have gone 7 games with Toronto Raptors. They're a young, upcoming team. They play well. Okay, cool. There is no reason in hell this should have been a 7-game series. No way. It should have been done in 5 maximum. Detroit, yeah, tougher team, but you were the better team. You were more talented. We knew Detroit didn't have a secondary score they could rely on.
And you had game. This is why I'm saying they shouldn't have went 7 with Detroit. They won game 5 in Detroit. They had game 6 in Cleveland. Like, if that's not the ultimate, okay, do your job and you're good. You would have had an extra day off, or maybe an extra 2 days off, or whatever.
You didn't show up in that game 6. The game was over by the third quarter. We have to stop taking this freaking team serious. It's going to be the same thing next year because it's the same guys like it was last year. I laugh and joke, but I'm also serious. That's not a championship caliber team. That's a team that looks pretty, but they have no substance. It's like that pretty girl that everybody wants, and it's like, oh, I'm finally going on a date with her. She's just here to spend all my money. She's here to make me look good, but she brings no substance to the table. I'm not bringing her home to meet my mother. No. She just looks good for eye candy. She looks good for social media. She looks good for when I go out. I'm not bringing her to meet my moms. That's Cleveland.
Hey, bro, spin that shit.
I'm sick of it.
Spin that shit. No, you're right. Hey, listen, folks, you learned 2 lessons in this segment. Don't bring everybody home. Don't bring everybody home to mama. And listen, just because you had sex with 10 women don't mean they all ugly and they all beautiful. That's where analytics come into fruition. If you playing sports, analytics don't come into fruition. So, JG, quickly before we get up out of here with the show, the New York Knicks, again, made it to the NBA Finals. They are awaiting the winner of the Western Conference Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder are currently up 3-2 on the San Antonio Spurs. Game 4 will be Thursday night in San Antonio. Frost Banco. I'm sorry, Game 6. Game 6 will be, I said Game 7 or Game 6?
You said Game 4.
Game 4. Ooh, tells you where my mind's at with the Spurs. Game 6 will be in San Antonio Thursday night, 8:30 on NBC and Peacock. Mike Tirico, Reggie Miller, Jamal Crawford, Zora Stevenson, Ashley Shaman will be on the call. The NBC Showtime pregame show consists of Maria Taylor, Vince Carter, Carmelo Anthony, and Tracy McGrady will be live from Frostbank Arena Game 6. Game 7, if necessary, will be Saturday night, 8 o'clock on NBC. The same crew, NBA Showtime, will be live from Oklahoma City, and your announcers will be calling the game at 8 o'clock. That will be Mike Tirico, Reggie Miller, and Jamal Crawford, Ashley Chamonix, and Zora Stevenson. Before we talk on this game, I want to give a quick shout out. I am a fan of Mike Tirico. I watched Mike Tirico when he was at ESPN. Congratulations to Mike Tirico on winning a sports Emmy. Well earned, well deserved. The man did the Super Bowl, and literally after the Super Bowl, walked down the field and led the United States, who was watching on NBC, to the Winter Olympics. That is an amazing feat, an amazing skill. So shout out to Mike Tirico. Congratulations on him winning the sports Emmy. Now, JG, to the Western Conference Finals. Simple question: will there be a Game 7? Will the Oklahoma City close it out in Game 6, or will the Spurs force a Game 7?
I believe there will be a Game 7. I think San Antonio responds at home, and they give the Thunder, they push the Thunder into one more game.
I agree. I think if you looked at Game 6, Game 6, Game 5, Oklahoma City had balanced scoring all around. SGA had 32 points. He was 7 of 19, but he made majority of his points at the free throw line. Then you had Jared McCain. He had 20. He was in the starting lineup. Jack Holmgren had his best game in the series. He was 16 and 11. Isaiah Hartenstein with that push shot. Your two big men gave you double-double, 16 and 11 for Chet Holmgren and 12 and 15 for Isaiah Hartenstein. Alex Caruso, he just plays different at home. He gave you 22 off the bench at home. Kyron Williams, 2 big threes. He gave you 8 points. Jalen Williams gave you 3, and then Casey Wallace gave you 7. So I think the San Antonio Spurs force a game 6. I'm tripping. Force a game 7. I think they win game 6. For me, the Spurs, and I hate to put it all on one person, but
do it.
To the heaviest who wear the crown, you got to wear. Say it again.
I was saying, do it. Go ahead and do what you got to do.
Yeah. To my guy, you wear the crown, so you got to wear the scars in the battle when we lose. Victor Wembanyama in the 2 games that the Spurs have won, there's 3-2. The 2 games that the Spurs have won, Victor Wembanyama had 41 and had 33. In the 3 games that they lost, he's averaging about 24 and 10 rebounds, 11 rebounds. In order for the Spurs to win the next 2 games, they need Victor Wembanyama to be in that 30-point range, 30 and high. What that does is that allows the others, the Stephon Castles, the Dylan Harpers, the De'Aaron Fox, the Julian Champagnes, who, by the way, had a great game 5. He was the only Spur who I thought played well in game 5. Allow them to get open and free of shots. The Spurs need Victor Wembanyama to be his best offensively and defensively. Now, this is not an excuse, but I'm going to say this. This is his first rodeo. The Spurs in game 5, I saw it one time in the Minnesota series. I saw it in game 1 of the Minnesota series where I thought their inexperience got in their way. I saw that in game 3 of this series of the Western Conference Finals, and I saw it in game 5 of this series in the Western Conference Finals. Game 3, you're up 15 points. I don't give a damn. You open up the game up 15. You're supposed to win that game. You can't lose that game at home. You got to find a way to win that game. The Spurs, think about it. The Spurs were up in game 3 by 15. They lost the game by 15. That means from the time they got up 15, when Oklahoma City came back to tie the game, the Spurs were outscored by 30 points for the rest of the game. That's inexcusable at home. And then game 5, I love Victor Wembanyama. And you could be tired, but I'm not giving you that excuse. They are putting smalls on you. Go in the paint. Why are you shooting threes? You should be shooting the ball close to the basket to start the game. And then once you start hitting those shots, then you can step out behind the 3-point line. Don't start the game shooting threes and then work your way in. Start in and then work your way out. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I love Wemby. Y'all know how I feel about him. I think he can be the greatest basketball player we've ever seen. But again, I give you your flowers when you do good. I gotta give you your black roses when you do bad. You feel me? Like at the end of the day, man, game 5, you're supposed to set the tone. He didn't set the tone. Julian Champagnes was the guy really setting the tone. In order for the Spurs to win, they need Victor Wembanyama to be the best player offensively and defensively. His defensive ranking in game 5, the way he played defense in game 5, the Thunder were hitting shots on him. They could barely hit shots on him the first 4 games of the series. They need Wembanyama to get energy right, mind right, body right for them to win game 6. I agree with you. I think the Spurs win game 6, and I think we have a game 7 Saturday night in Oklahoma City.
I'm really tired of seeing Wembanyama at the top of the key, dribbling between his legs and trying to do hesitation moves. It's actually really pissing me off. Like, okay, dude, I get it. You have that in your bag. That's cool. You're 7'5". Get your big ass close to the basket and dominate. And when they give you a 3, knock it down. I got you. I'm not saying take away part of your game, but I'm tired of seeing this dude dribble between his legs and try to like dribble through 2 people from the top of the key. Get your ass in the mid post or lower than that. Do your damage there and work your way out. Also, Spurs need to stop doing 2 things. They have to stop having stupid fouls. Stephon Castle, Carter Bryant, Keldon Johnson as well. They're just stupid fouls. Everyone talks about the free throw emergence.
Yeah, but let me say that that's inexperience. That's my point. That's my point, because you're bringing on Keldon Johnson. I mean, not Keldon Johnson. Take him out. Even though he's an experienced player, this is his first playoff. I think it's his first or second. No, I think he was there when they made the playoffs with the Rosen. So he has some playoff experience. But the players you banking on, Stephon Castle and Carter Bryant, when you're inexperienced, you don't know how to guard people in certain moments. And it's different in the regular season. Like in the regular season, you can put your forearm in somebody, you can get away with that. In the playoffs, SGA, you put your forearm in him, he's going to fall down. I'm not saying he flop, and I ain't getting into all that. SGA is going to play to the benefit of how SGA plays. Once you have the experience of that, then you know how to deal with that. The Spurs don't have that. Like I said, I go back to inexperience. I feel like their inexperience is why they're down 3-2 in this series. Because I don't think the Thunder, and I mean one more thing, the Thunder's bench has obviously the Thunder's bench has been the best unit this whole series. Like their bench has outscored the Spurs bench basically every game in the series. In Game 4 in San Antonio, when San Antonio won that game, they only outscored them by 4, but they averaged outscoring them by 15 to 20 points per game. So I just think the inexperience of the guys and the bench mob of the Thunder, they kicking ass. I think next year, Stephon Castle, Carter Bryant, they'll learn from, okay, when we see this team again, because I think the Spurs and the Thunder will be the rivalry in the West. I think we all can kind of like see that with it shaping out to be. They'll learn, okay, I can't do this, I can do this. You see what I'm saying? I can't turn my arm this way, I can do this. So you gotta learn, that's all.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but it's like you also got film. I mean, when you get to the playoffs, we used to say this like in college, like to our freshmen, or when I was a young player or a freshman. You get midway through the season, get into the postseason. You're not a freshman, you're not a rookie anymore. You know what to expect. Yeah, it's your first playoff scenario and everything, but you've had a couple of playoff series now. You've had time to watch film. You have an idea of how referees are going to call the game. This is where you have to adjust, and that yes, some of that comes with maturity. The other part of that comes with coaching, but the other that comes with learning on the fly, player intelligence as you continue to play these games. So although these are younger players, I still think you gotta stop turning the ball over the way the Spurs are turning the ball over, and then the silly fouls. I just got on Karl Anthony Towns about all the silly fouls he commits. He got better with that. Now, yeah, obviously Karl Anthony Towns is an older player. He's been through that, but you're in the playoff scenario. You got some playoff series wins under your belt. You have to be better than that. Because I think the Spurs are good enough to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I picked them in 7 games. I'm going to stick to that, and I'm not going to flip flop here. But I just think that the Spurs, Wembanyama, stop doing this thinking you're Allen Iverson at the top of the key, dribbling with your legs. Get your big ass in the paint and dominate. And then Castle, I love what you're trying to do. I love that you're trying to pick up SGA, full court and put pressure on him. They need you on the court. Carter Bryant as well. You can't get these silly fouls. Dylan Harper as well. Lean on your veterans. Lean on De'Aaron Fox. Lean on Champagny. Lean on Vassell. These guys have been here before. They understand it. I mean, your young player, Wembanyama, is doing pretty well, not getting in foul trouble. We're not having stupid fouls. He's only 22. He's not an older player. So I mean, obviously they're different players and all that, but still, just player intelligence and just watching film and getting better is my point.
No, you're right. Player intelligence, watching film, and the Spurs, they watch film from Game 3, they improved Game 4. So maybe they can do that Game 5 to Game 6. I agree with you 1,000%. I'm not going to be too hard on Carter Bryant and Stephon Castle because you got to learn that. Basketball, all sports are really about touching and feeling, but really in the playoffs, it's about you're grinding in the playoffs. So you have to learn what the referees will accept and what they won't accept. So I think that's an acquired taste. And even like you said, Karl Anthony Towns, it took him years. He was doing dumb fouls last year. He's been a pro. He's been in the NBA for over 10 years now. Been a pro in the league 10 years. Yeah. So he was doing dumb stuff last year. So I just think, hopefully it doesn't take them that long, but I feel like it takes time. For me, with Stephon Castle, I'll say this and then we can get up out of here. I'm not upset about his foul situation. I'm upset with his turnovers. To me, his turnovers are the killers because his turnovers allow Oklahoma City to get out there and run in the fast break, and now the defense is scrambling. Jared McCain, Alex Caruso, mainly in Oklahoma City, Jalen Williams. Now they're getting wide open threes. So that's not only are you turning the ball over, you're stopping us from scoring. When I say us, I mean the Spurs, his team. When you're stopping us, the Spurs, from scoring, now you're giving them, Oklahoma City, a chance to get the ball. So for me, I think the Spurs find a way to win Game 6, and I think we have an epic Game 7. And we will be here next week to recap the Western Conference Finals and look forward to the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys for watching episode 85 of the best sports show out, Highly Opinionated. For the best editor, for the best guy here on Highly Opinionated, Ross, we love you. Keep doing great work. Ladies and gentlemen, for the best co-host in the game, my guy, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the Club JG podcast. Doing great things over there, brother. Keep up the great work. When does the next episode drop?
Yeah, we're back from vacation. Club JG is back on Friday. We're breaking down all things NBA playoffs. I got a few more things to say about James Harden. I got it in the Cavaliers, but also the New York Knicks, and a little bit on LeBron James. What is his future going to look like?
Can't wait to watch Friday, new episode of the Club JG podcast. Keep doing great work, my brother. All love.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Merely Josh. Thank you for watching episode 85. We'll see you guys next week for episode 86. We are out.